When 40 families lost everything, rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders didn't send money, he showed up. While critics warned him to stay away, he answered with faith, "God told me to be here." What happened next changed Cleveland forever.
Rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders is hosting a community fundraiser at Rainbow Terrace Apartments in Cleveland. Last month, the complex caught fire following an explosion. One man died in the fire and several others were displaced. The Garden Valley Fun Fest will raise money for those impacted residents. The event runs from 4 to 8 p.m. and will feature food, music, and fun for everyone.
Rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders did something in Cleveland that no one could have predicted. It wasn't about the plays he'd run on the field. Instead, it was about the calls he made off the field, in the streets, in the hearts of people who needed someone to show up. On June 23rd, something terrible happened in Cleveland's Garden Valley neighborhood. The Rainbow Terrace Apartments exploded. Neighbors describe a shocking blast, followed by a wildfire of heat and smoke that swallowed everything in its path. Within minutes, more than 60 firefighters from 20 different companies converged on the scene. Picture chaos, sirens blaring, hoses spitting water, firefighters battling ceilings that collapsed in flames, and residents fleeing their apartments with just the clothes on their backs. The sky was bright with the glow of destruction. But amidst that horror, a man named QB Shedeur, just 30 years old, ran back into the inferno. Why? To rescue his stepchildren. He carried them out to safety, but his hero's heart could not escape the flames. He died, sacrificing everything so those kids could live. QB Shedeur's death hit the city hard. 40 families were displaced. 5 people were hospitalized. The entire community fractured. Councilman Richard Starr summed it up, "Since June 23rd, nobody's been themselves. The whole neighborhood is mourning. It's a shadow over us, and that pain raw, heavy, measurable light left a wound that needed time, space, and someone to help guide the healing." Now, we look to Shedeur Sanders, a rookie quarterback in the NFL, a 22-year-old trying to earn his spot in Cleveland. Training, learning plays, preparing for life under bright stadium lights. He wasn't. Even in Cleveland when the explosion happened, in fact, he was probably in his own zone, mentally focused on completing drills and reading defenses. But then something unexpected happened. A private message on social media popped up, a random DM. No PR people, no requests for photo ops, just a heartfelt message. Something happened here at Rainbow Terrace. It's bad. The message came from a resident, a parent, another neighbor, maybe someone traumatized by the explosion. They didn't know Shedeur, but they believed in the power of social media to connect heaven across divide. Shedeur replied, "Dang, that's crazy." Then his response, "We need to do something. Not later. Not once. We got to do something now."
Truly have been through so much.
Of course, everybody know about the situation, everything that happened here, and I was out of town when it happened, so I was able to put things together, structure things the best we could in the small amount of time we had, to make sure everybody's accommodated. It's bigger than football, you know, like it's bigger than football out here.
Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders is a guy that is very new to Northeast Ohio, but he's already organized a few different community service events.
That impulse, that urge to move, sparked an idea. They planned an event, a community festival, a chance to bring joy back to a place scarred by trauma. Some fans on social media weren't sold. "Stay away from East Cleveland," they warned. "It's not safe. Why take the risk? You've got enough on your plate." They argued from afar, distanced by pixels and cheap reassurance. Shedeur, he ignored them. Instead, he posted something, a comment that sent chills across the city. "God told me to come here, and I'm never going to question his word." No hesitation, no PR spin, just faith. A sincere message from someone who believed he was supposed to be there. And so he arrived. He rolled into town on June 23rd, exactly 1 month after the explosion. The site wasn't some plush stadium or a pitch-perfect press setup. It was a vacant lot right next to the destroyed apartments, still heavy with smoke, still littered with ashes. And Shedeur showed up at 4:30 p.m. sharp. He didn't show up in a limo. He didn't surround himself with security. He didn't keep a circle. Instead, he walked through familiar city streets, past vacant buildings and burned cars, into the heart of a neighborhood that had spent weeks in grief. What looked like a celebration, food trucks, bounce houses, free haircuts, face painting booths, was so much more. It was a declared antidote to despair. Music speakers set the tone. Kids ran barefoot in the grass. Parents asked for burgers. Teens grabbed lemonade. Laughter broke the silence. Joy edged back into a place that had forgotten it. Shedeur didn't stay on the sidelines. He didn't just pose for photos. He stayed for hours. He spent minute after minute walking down lines, shaking hands, patting backs, hugging mothers, answering questions from local press. Children waited in line for his attention. He never rushed. He never checked his watch. Local councilman Richard Starr, who had stood nearby in the early hours of the disaster, watched this show of humanity and called it a testament to who Shedeur Sanders is and where his upbringing comes from. Not just a star athlete, a human being who sees, hears, and responds to need. Midway through, Shedeur grabbed a football. He and teammate Mike Hall Jr. led a pickup game on a field of grass and hope. Imagine the scene. Neighborhood kids, some still wearing hospital wristbands, running toward him with smiles as wide as their cleats. The very same kids who saw firsthand the devastation of the fire were now tossing end zone passes with a rookie, QB, who threw nothing but pure kindness. One little girl on her dad's shoulders screamed, "You're cool!" Others gathered for selfies. But you know what? The real moment was how Shedeur himself lit up. He threw short slants. He crouched to teach a kid how to catch. He didn't pull back. He wasn't there for the PR. He was there for them, for Cleveland. A resident, Ten Dallier, put it simply, with tears in her eyes, "These kids are smiling. It's about time someone came to show us we matter." That line hit every person listening. Those tear-smudged faces in the audience that applauded meant one thing. This wasn't just a gesture. It was redemption. It was healing. Councilman Starr later reflected, "Being here is bigger than writing a check. Being here is everything." It wasn't a, quote, meant for headlines. It was the truth unveiled. It meant that presence, being physically, emotionally, spiritually, there is what transforms money into meaning, donations into dignity. Shedeur didn't come to be a hero. He came to be a neighbor, a teammate in life, a friend in loss. And as he walked away that evening, smiling, waving, soaking in the energy, he could feel it. The community was different. They weren't the same isolated neighbors anymore. They were family. They were Cleveland. Now, the bigger picture. This kind of act matters. There's a tendency, especially in big league sports, to respond with statements, with donations, with carefully curated images. But the real difference maker is showing up when it's inconvenient, when it's risky, when the people you're helping don't have security clearance. When the cameras might miss it, that's when character shines. Shedeur Sanders could have deferred any of this. He could have waited until after the season. He could have let his representatives handle it, but he didn't. He chose to go, to stand, to pretty much ignore anyone saying, "It's not safe, don't go, stay away for your career." He ignored the noise because he trusted a higher instinct. So what can we, as observers, learn from this? For starters, presence is more powerful than publications. It's not just any act, it's intentional, real, and vulnerable. It's a quarterback in shoulder pads, yes, but also knee pads dusted with ashes, a shirt stained with paint, a heart open to hurting kids. It's persistence, it's humility, it's empathy, it's faith. Shedeur didn't speak in platitudes. He didn't deliver canned sound bites. He said, "God told me to come." That's powerful because it roots his action in something deeper than himself. It's a call, a purpose, a conviction beyond social media metrics. Since that day, he's become more than a name. He's Cleveland's quarterback on the field and off. He's a leader of more than a team. He's a leader of a city, a son of Ohio, a witness to tragedy, and a vessel for healing. That's why this mattered. It's bigger than football. It's bigger than a game. It's bigger than Cleveland or the NFL. Shedeur Sanders' moment is proof of an ancient truth. When people are hurting, words matter, but presence proves. How do we follow that example? Maybe it starts with us, with showing up for school events, volunteering at shelters, listening to neighbors in pain, accepting invitations to grief, not just giving, but being, not just passing money, but making, truth, not just posting support, but showing it. Maybe that's what leadership really is. And maybe sports stardom isn't about yards gained or trophies lifted. It's about rooms entered, hands shaken, and pains shared. It's about breathing hope into places where loss settles. So here's the question I leave you with. What would more athletes and more of us be like if we just showed up when it hurts? Where would schools be? Neighborhoods? Cities? Money is easy if. Hosting support is simple maybe, that's just table stakes. Maybe presence is the goal. Maybe meeting grief, face-to-face and love, face-to-face is the playbook for becoming human again. Let me know what you think. Should more athletes be like Shedeur, getting real, staying real, investing real in people? Or is a check and a tweet enough? Drop your thoughts. Share your stories about people who showed up when it counted. And if this story drew a tariff, it sparked a hope in your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, share. Let's get conversations started on what real leadership looks like. Because this right here, this is what it means to be *** more than an athlete.